I had an opportunity to go out and spend some time with the Vaagen team at not only their facility, but up in the forest. And we had an opportunity to see literally firsthand the before and the after.
We are taking out all of the small, suppressed, underdeveloped timber and working to provide a forest that is in its as close to natural state as possible, which means wide spacing, an uneven age stand of timber, so you have the big stuff and you have some of the reprod that's coming up through, and also multi-species. So Vaagen Brothers Lumber is a multi-generational, long-time local mill. They lived through all of the bad times in the lumber world. Mills were closing all over the US, mainly because the environmental world was driving a zero tolerance for logging, because they felt like that was the worst thing for the forest. What they didn't realize was that was driving us to where we are now, to be the catastrophic wildfires, the era of mega fires, and very unhealthy forests.
Well, utilizing mass timber in our structures is very beneficial to the forests. And the reason why we're partnering with Vaagen is because of how they harvest the trees. It brings water back into the streams that may have otherwise been dried up because of how much water each one of these trees at 400 gallons a day require.
When you think about forest health, you have to think about water and nutrients. An acre of ground can only produce so much water and so much nutrients. So when you have 5,000 trees on an acre that should technically have between 20 and 100 trees per acre, it can't maintain and provide the nutrients that's needed to get that big growth, the deep roots, the tall canopies, all of that stuff. So essentially, those trees are focusing on surviving and getting up and fighting for sunlight and all the stuff that happens there, right? When we talk about logging, like you can see out the windows here, like this is a thick, nasty, dense forest. And when a lightning strike happens, it's going to burn down. Thick, overgrown, suppressed forests are not healthy.
Literally on one side of the logging road versus the other. On one side was this dense, dark forest, like there was no light that was in there. The temperature dropped in just a matter of feet, dropped 10 degrees or more. The forest bed was soft and cushy, almost like a pillow from years and years and years of needles and sticks and decomposition that are happening that actually in a fire is just tinder.
You can imagine a lightning strike in here. This is going to inherently burn down to a catastrophic level. So there are no structures here, but if there were, they would be gone as well.
One of the things that I've learned is that managed forests help with the containment of fires. Forest fires are not a bad thing. They're very beneficial to the forest. But an uncontrolled fire, forest fire, is detrimental to the forest.
So all of this stuff to burn, including this 2 to 3 foot layer of duff below us, when a fire comes through here, it's burnt. All that carbon is blown up into the atmosphere. This is turned into moon dust. You can't grow anything in it. It takes forever to regenerate. So the idea of coming in here, opening this up, and turning it into a usable product, which ironically creates small, tight knots, tight grain systems, because these are suppressed. This tree should probably be that big around. So instead of having real wide rings and big knots, it's got this stuff. So we get this beautiful product to make this forest healthy. Our downfall product creates a very sexy lumber, which in turn creates a very sexy mass timber product. Our past, our present, and our future all depends on these forests not being in this state. Right now, this is the state of most of the forests in the country. And we have to make sure that we're doing our best to help improve this to a healthy, sustainable, maintainable, class 1 beautiful forest that can be harvested on a continuous basis is beautiful to recreate in and gives the animals an inviting place to live. In the background you can see behind me, they've gone through, they've removed the small suppressed stuff. They've left the best possible species, the best possible aged trees to give that healthy forest start. They've started the process of going through and cleaning up. They're bringing all of the extra stuff around, so if a forest fire does come through here, it's not going to affect the canopies. It's going to burn underneath like it's supposed to and not hurt anything.
The wildlife can now forage through there freely, and deer and elk and bear and everything else that would ordinarily not be able to live in such a dense spot is now able to thrive.
So this is it. This is what we want to end with. This can be harvested over a period of time, not really knowing it's being harvested. Fires can come through here, it's safe. Our grandkids can play in these forests and enjoy the same things that we did. This is why we do what we do, making the forest our ultimate customer and having this be the finished product.
Selective harvesting takes more effort and more consideration, and therefore is not the most cost-effective approach to harvesting lumber, but it's the right way. There are so many benefits to the way that this material is being harvested that it's important for us to recognize that and support that and pass that along to our clients so that we can keep this going for the future.